defer to getting the football to start the second half, so we'll get a look at Carolina on offense right from the get-go, and this one is underway. Nate McCollum going to bring it out a couple of yards from the end zone, and he's up to the 21-yard line. We saw the Tar Heels a couple of weeks ago, and it was a solid game from Jacoby Criswell. He ran for 81 yards and a couple of touchdowns, threw for better than 200 and another touchdown. He originally started his career in Carolina, left to go to Arkansas for a year, and now back at Carolina and finds himself as the main guy.
I thought he took a good step when we saw him versus Georgia Tech a couple weeks ago, making some plays. That completion percentage continues to be the number that sticks out, especially on third down. Find completions, get that number up. That'll be a good sign for this offense.
Quick throw on first down, and they find Nate McCollum. It should be noted, the rest of this season, and we'll talk about this more throughout the telecast, about the passing of Tylee Kraft. There is going to be one North Carolina player that will wear number 13, and today that is Kobe Paysour.
It was J.J. Jones, and we saw him 2 weeks ago, and they'll switch off which receiver wears it every game.
This is Omarion Hampton, and he appears to be a yard and a half shy of a first down, fourth most rushing yards in all of college football. He runs for 127 per game, which leads the ACC. They call it 3rd and 2. They're going to throw it rather than run it, and Criswell gets it away, and a flag is down. Was that a completed pass on the far side of the field? That was J.J. Jones over there.
An eligible player downfield. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
That's Howard Sampson, a left tackle.
Yeah, it looks like it was a little run-pass option for Jacoby Criswell. That's a little bit of that situational awareness that he's got to grow in. When it's 3rd and short and you have only a couple yards to go, hand that ball off, get the first down. Instead, you pull it, it's not there, and that's why the ineligible player downfield happened, because you have a lineman thinking, hey, we're going to give this for sure. We got Hampton in our backfield. He's our best player. It's 3rd and short. Instead, Criswell pulls it. I think that's one he'd like to have back.
So a 3rd down and 7 from the 23-yard line. Missed on the intended target, the tight end John Copenhaver. It should be noted, the Tar Heels without their leading receiver, the tight end Bryson Nesbitt.
Great job by this Virginia pass rush, too. Both guys on the edge. Cam Butler, the heart and soul of that defense, number 82, coming off the edge. This is a North Carolina offensive line, especially at the tackle spot, that's still working to settle in. This is the healthiest this North Carolina offensive line has been all season, though. Certainly taking advantage of that bye week.
Yeah, they got Aiden Banfield, their very talented, true freshman left guard, back. He did not play against Georgia Tech. Ethan Davies trying to turn the corner across midfield. Excellent return down to the 42-yard line. And that's where the Cavaliers will put it in play. Speaking of a talented young player, how about Anthony Calandria? He just turned 20 years old this week. St. Petersburg, Florida native. He made his first collegiate start a year ago in week 2 after Tony Muskett was injured. He beat out Muskett to be the starter this year.
And those interceptions are a strength. Had 4 early on, but nothing as of late. Done a great job protecting the football. He's fun to watch on film. His legs pop out or pop off the screen, and he can create when things break down.
Now the Carolina secondary is thin. They've got some guys beat up, either completely out, as Marcus Allen is, or Jakeen Harris, who's going to give it a go with a leg injury. That's caught by Fields.
You can see a point of emphasis for this offense. Get Malachi Fields, their star receiver, the ball early at that slot position, which we'll talk about more today.
Carried by Kobe Pace, and he's short of the first down. See exactly where they're going to spot it. Right at, well, inside the 35, so it's about 3rd and a yard and a half.
And yeah, Tom, you mentioned that secondary for North Carolina. It's a group that was already thin. That was the message when we had them versus Georgia Tech. To have 2 starters down, keep an eye on that, and I think it's why the defensive line for the Tar Heels has to show up today. Get pressure with 4 and help out your secondary.
Good enough for a first down. That is Pace. He's closing in on 400 rushing yards this year.
Good job by this left side of the offensive line. Looked like it's Noah Josie getting the start at center. It was a late scratch. He was healthy as of yesterday, and something happened late in this week. Brian Stevens, Virginia's starting center, not playing today.
Now, Stevens, a good, solid player, transfer from Dayton. And this is Chris Tyree, the former Notre Dame running back who made the shift to wide receiver. They're hoping as he gets healthier that we'll see some explosive plays out of him. That's why he's here.
He was a weapon. I remember covering the USC Notre Dame game last year, and he was a playmaker there. And it's a theme with Virginia guys coming back home in the transfer portal.
Wide open, but overthrown after the defender Tyrone Stewart slipped and fell. Stewart is the one getting the start in place of the injured Marcus Allen. It looked like Calandria had a little more time there.
He did. He did. Had a guy open. This is a point of emphasis for this Virginia offense, too. I mean, as we see the graphics here, it's balanced, but it always, the crux is this red zone. That's been the issue. They changed the practice format. Usually for most teams across the country, red zone's what you work on a Wednesday or a Thursday. It's the first thing they're working on. Monday, first thing at practice. They've struggled and kicked a lot of field goals this year.
Third down. Protection starts to break down, and we know this guy can run it. And he will pick up a first down. Needed to get to the 16. He got to the 15.
This is what you gotta love if you're Tony Elliott about your young quarterback. You give a progression to the right, it's not there. He's working through his reads. Eyes taken back to his left. He sees the crease and picks it up. It's a handful. It was Jeff Collins, North Carolina's defensive coordinator. The whole message yesterday going into this game was we have to contain Calandria. And it's a fine line of you want to get pressure on him, you want to get upfield in your rush lanes, but you also can't leave gaps like we saw right there.
Beautifully played defensively that time by Elijah Huzzy. You know, you look at Virginia, you saw the note there about red zone a moment ago, but in the 30 trips in the red zone, they only have 12 touchdowns. That's 130th in the FBS.
Scoring touchdowns on only 40% of drives.
Yep.
That's the Achilles heel. And it's a team that has had to come from behind to win a lot of these games, and it's a team that's been up in every single game this season. So when you look back, the difference in those 4 points per drive is a big deal.
Xavier Brown out of the backfield, and he's inside the 5. It'll be first and goal for the Cavaliers. Brown's a talented player. They just got to get him on the field.
He really is. Adds an explosive element to this offense. Love the fact that Anthony Calandria is getting the ball out of his hands quickly. It's a little wheel route to his running back. Get the ball to him right now. Trying to do something with it after the fact. And ooh, that's close. Watch that left foot. That's really close at first glance. I don't know if he stepped out there. Yeah, I don't blame him.
Previous play is under further review.
That first replay, he looked in. Both feet.
Sure did.
It's a heck of a job extending the rock. It's both feet, so the left foot's good there. Right foot, it's right, the cord's right in the way there, but left foot good here, no issue there. Right foot good there, no issue. Then the question will be, is his left hand down or touching out of bounds before the ball in his right hand touches the front pylon?
Mike Mothershed, our analyst extraordinaire. Mike, what do you think? It looked like the left hand tap, but maybe you see it different.
After further review, the runner was out of bounds at the 1-yard line. It will be first and goal from that spot.
To me, it's got to be the hand then. So watch the left hand down.
Yep.
Ball hasn't touched the pylon.
Nice job by the crew. And Mike, thank you very much.
If Mike's an analyst extraordinaire, I gotta level up. I need to get in his category.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. We all do. All right, so here we go. Brown is in the backfield. And it's a high snap. And covering it up, Calandria. I'm a little surprised they did not go with what they call their Grady Bunch package there. They have 4 one-yard touchdowns by their backup quarterback, Grady Brosterhouse.
And remember, it's a backup center in the ball game. An offensive line that was already thin in the interior. So it works both ways, right? It's a center that's maybe not as used to snapping the ball at a shotgun, but even if you go under center and you go Grady Bunch and you use that brotherly shove quarterback sneak, that's a lot of bodies tight that you have to have confidence if you're Tony Elliott that your center can handle that snap. That's something to keep your eye on, not only this drive, but throughout the game.
All right, so 2nd and goal. And Calandria rolling right. Chase, good juke move, throws to the corner, and it's too high. He had Fields in the corner of the end zone. I just have a hard time understanding when you're struggling in the red zone and you have the ball at the 1-yard line. And the one thing you have done well is run the ball in the end zone at the 1-yard line. And you're going shotgun with a backup center.
To your point, it's a play they've done well. So if they don't get to it at all in this game, it has to speak to they don't have confidence with the backup center in there. So much talk about Jason Kelsey with the Eagles being so much better than their new center at that play.
Incomplete. Had an eye on Green Jr. And so this is precisely what we talked about before the game started. We talked about it on this drive, their struggles in the red zone. They had it 1st and goal at the 1. And now we'll send out the field goal unit. Will Bettridge, junior out of Miami of Florida, has only missed 2 all year.
Missed opportunities from both teams, first drives. Criswell pulling the ball, not giving it to his best player, Hampton, on the first drive, and then the fumbled snap here.
Field goal right down the middle. So, good drive. They come away with 3. You're watching CW Football Saturday, presented by Verizon. Kids, and trying to stay with them late night. Not easy to do. Been there. That one hammered through the back of the end zone. 3-0 in favor of the Cavaliers. Mike standing by. Unbeaten Navy going at it today, Mike, with the Fighting Irish. There you get a look. Again, they call it the grounds, not the campus, the grounds of the University of Virginia. This is Hampton, and that's a gain of 11 on 1st down.
That's something to keep your eye on, too, for Notre Dame. We saw it in NIU early on in the season. Ends up being a good loss. Seeing Omarion Hampton go right back to your man. Good 1st down run, first play of the drive.
Give it to him again, and that's a solid 6-7 yard pickup on 1st down by Hampton. He's zeroing in on another 1,000-yard rushing season. He came in 71 yards shy. He ran for over 1,500 a year ago. One of only 2 backs in the FBS with over 1,500 rushing yards and 15 rushing touchdowns through the hands of Copenhaver. Well, he had a chance 2 weeks ago to win that game against Georgia Tech, and it went right through his hands. That would have been the game-winning touchdown.
That was a tough one. I'm sure he wants that one back, and he'll have an increased role. No Bryson Nesbitt, North Carolina's star tight end, so Copenhaver's going to have to step up. Sophomore Jake Johnson, also elevated role in this ball game. This is the type of scenario in a game where they would have looked to Bryson Nesbitt, 3rd and medium. Who's going to be that answer today?
Called a 3rd down and 4. Good protection. And a crossing pattern to McCollum, and he crosses midfield to the 47-yard line. 1st down, Tar Heels. And they are hurrying up.
See the little option route right here by McCollum in the slot. Could have gone out, could have gone in. Defender's leverage is outside of him, so he breaks across his face.
Criswell's just going to eat it, and a flag comes in late.
Holding offense number 73. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Since 73, they're going to get Zach Greenberg there. Reserve backup center guard. Something to keep your eye on, too. We saw Criswell try to create with his legs right there. A key factor in this ball game could be which quarterback is the leading rusher in this game. Last week for Criswell, or 2 weeks ago, last time they played, he had a career high in rushing yards. We've talked about it with Calandria. That could be a difference maker.
Looked like the ball may have been tipped as it left the right hand of Criswell. It's incomplete. And we told you that Paysour is wearing the jersey number of Tylee Kraft, number 13.
Not only the number 2, but you're going to see the last name still implemented on there.
That was so tough for this entire program. We were there 2 weeks ago. And now Criswell going to run it, and that's good work right there. He needed to get to the 37-yard line. I think he stepped out of bounds a yard short.
Great job by him breaking the pocket. His eyes go right, too. It's not easy as a quarterback. Working your eyes back to the left, then he breaks down using his legs. Thought it was a huge element at key moments 2 weeks ago for North Carolina to move the sticks and keep drives on schedule. Criswell, it feels like with every game settling in more and more.
They're down at a yard. Going to be very close depending on the spot. And they're saying it's good enough for a first down for Hampton. Let's go downstairs. Speaking of this Tar Heel offensive line and run game. Hi, Carla.
Yeah, one guy that's super happy about that healthy offensive line is Omarion Hampton. I talked to him earlier this week. He said, man, I'm excited just knowing what this run game was before. Now we all have a greater understanding of what we can do up front, and that could be the difference maker for this offense, guys.
Thank you very much. Able to avoid a sack, and then the throw is incomplete. On first down for North Carolina. Trailing 3-0 with 5:32 to play here in the opening quarter.
We saw it on that 3rd and short, too. The thing that jumped out when you talked to Georgia Tech staff a couple weeks ago and again with Virginia is the contact balance that Omarion Hampton has. Most running backs, they go down. First contact, that would have been 4th and short. He doesn't. It's a sign of an NFL back.
Quick hit and a big hit for the Tar Heels. Still on his feet and headed for the end zone is J.J. Jones. What a play. Even Scott from Scott's is pumped after seeing that touchdown for J.J. Jones. That is his 3rd receiving touchdown of the year.
Making plays with his legs. They dial up a little receiver screen right there. He makes a couple guys miss. They challenge this receiver unit to finish plays. The context of that was when the ball's in the air. That's finishing plays right there, yards after catch.
Noah Burnett for the point after, and it is good to make it 7-3.
We're going to dial up a screen. J.J. Jones in open space makes one guy miss, a second guy miss, and has North Carolina up early. one spot, brand new weight room. That was impressive seeing that yesterday.
Well, I mean, that place is really, really nice.
And we're seeing it. It's the second wave of the arms race in college football. There was one when I was playing in like the 2010, 2013 range. Now teams are upgrading again, but 2 beautiful practice fields. The weight room's gorgeous. And they talked about it. You can literally after practice spend your entire day there because they have the players' lounge, the entire cafeteria. That's become the norm in college football, but Virginia's not taking a back seat with any of that facilities.
Yeah, it sits right next to the George Welsh indoor practice facility and the team's 2 practice fields. So congratulations.
Full nutrition center too. That's a big thing as a player too, to get both your meals 5 days a week. And added nutrition. No excuse not to. If you're a weight gain guy, no excuse not to take care of business.
Delay of game, offense, penalty, first down.
Man, coming out of the kickoff return, and a delay of game penalty puts you behind the sticks. 1st and 15 now from the 30-yard line. Trouble, Calandria, and down he goes into the arms of Amari Campbell, and that's his 4th sack of the year.
The true sophomore, named a captain this week, coming back home to the state of Virginia, goes right through the middle of this offensive line. We talked about it's a thin linebacker room, but Campbell and Eccles right next to him, they can get it done.
This drive started on the 35-yard line. They're all the way back to the 15. Will screen to try and get some of it back up to the 23 to Kobe Pace. Now you like this.
Ump cam here. Oh yeah. Little screen trying to get Kobe Pace an easy touch. Great awareness by both levels of this North Carolina defense, defensive line wise and linebacker wise, knowing that Virginia's behind the sticks. When that's the case, that's a recipe for a lot of draw play calls and screen play calls.
3rd down and 22. They had a delay of game penalty on this drive, then a sack and another sack. As down goes Calandria for the 2nd time. And this time in the arms of Bo Atkinson. That's his 1st sack this year. Big high school 4-star recruit out of Raleigh.
That's just a bull rush. Jeff Collins, their defensive coordinator, said this week bull rushes are good rushes. Tony Elliott not necessarily liking it. He's taking advantage of a converted tight end there at tackle, Jack Whitmer. But credit this North Carolina defensive line, only rushing 3, yet still able to get immediate pressure on Calandria.
Now we saw Huzzy return a punt for a touchdown 2 weeks ago, 69 yards against Georgia Tech. Very high but extremely short punt, and a savvy move there by Huzzy to come up and get it before it took a long bounce. Trying to tack on some more points after the touchdown throw. But is spectacular.
A lot of play callers take a shot here.
All day to throw it, and it was underthrown. They had Jones down the sideline who had snuck behind the defender Shine.
Pretty good coverage by Kempton Shine, squeezing Jones into the boundary. I said it right there. Anytime you're plus side of the field, you have momentum on your side. You just had a big touchdown the possession before. See a lot of offensive coordinators, if you have a favorite home run shot to call or a trick play, it's a popular place to call it.
And then right back to the ground and pound. You hand it off to Hampton. You know, we were talking about Hampton going for better than 1,500 yards last year. Over 1,000 of those yards came after contact. You touched on it earlier. That was #1 in all of college football. Yards after the initial contact for Hampton.
And he's doing that year after year, game after game. When you look forward to the next level, that consistency where he can get you, he averages 22 carries a game. You could easily hand him the rock 30 times a game if you wanted to. He can get it done, and on 3rd and 3, I'd expect him to learn their lesson from the first drive and hand it off to him again.
You called it. They hand it off to him again. And he appears to be just short. Maybe a half yard. And if it is 4th down, you got to go, right?
Got to go. And I think that's why they called that play call when they did. It's when I played and we had that rollout right, hand the ball off. It was when you're trying to catch the defense off guard. I don't think Virginia's going to be caught off guard with any time you're handing the ball off to number 28.
Up under center. And they pitch it to Hampton. Oh my gosh. Like a battering ram. I think Trey McDonald took the brunt of that monster hit.
Let's check out the ace cam and see Omarion Hampton lower the shoulder. He catches Trey McDonald off balance and runs right through him with bad intentions.
So they cash in on 4th down in the yard to keep this drive alive, already leading 7-3. A minute 15 to go, and the double reverse. And again, just getting cute. You got a good thing going here.
I'm with you. Keep wearing, keep giving the rock to Omarion Hampton, wear this defense down, and maybe get to that play call in the second half. Didn't have to get it there. It's kind of what I was talking about. Mac Brown's probably saying the same thing. Guys, why are we trying to reinvent the wheel?
The delay, they give it to Hampton. He's got some running room. Oh my gosh, he delivers another hit. You better make sure you bring your lunch once this guy has the ball in his hands, and Corey Thomas Jr. felt the hit there.
You better make sure you eat your lunch too, because you're going to need those pounds behind you. Look at this. Boom. You play a violent sport.
Well, the injured Cavalier, their star sophomore linebacker, Cam Robinson. He leads the team in tackles.
That'd be a big loss, too. They're coming into this game. No James Jackson. We talked about Trey McDonald, who's usually the backup linebacker, at least to start the year. He's having to start, so if you lose Cam Robinson, that becomes a thin unit for Virginia.
He led all ACC true freshmen in tackles a year ago. They think he's going to be a great one when all is said and done. A native Virginian, he decided to stay home rather than other offers from the likes of Tennessee and Florida State.
It's a big deal for Tony Elliott trying to build this program. He called Cam Robinson a type of guy that can be a program changer for exactly what you said. Big-time recruit, elects to stay home, but then's been really productive and given a great opportunity here to do so.
3rd down and 14 after the huge loss on the double reverse. You need to get just inside the 25-yard line.
I think you got to go a drop back pass, obviously, and look for Criswell's legs to be a factor and get him into field goal range at the very least.
Only a 4-man rush across the middle. Looked like the receiver stopped in the pattern, McCollum. Hard to tell from up here. Actually, that was J.J. Jones, I beg your pardon. 5, not 6.
And again, it's Kempton Shine on the coverage. Clean pocket, great pass pro, no rush.
Personal foul, hands to the face, offense number 78. That penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
Travion Green, the North Carolina right tackle. So now the punt team will come out.
It's unfortunate too. You're in no man's land. I think in hindsight you might have thought about going and trying to get a 7 or 8 yard completion and give your shot at the field goal instead of trying to bite everything off. As a result of the incompletion, now you got to punt it. And we talked about it. 3rd down has been the Achilles heel of this North Carolina offense.
Boy, and that's a big stop defensively for Virginia. Trying to pin him inside the 20. That has not been a forte for McGinnis this year. I mean, you had the very short punt, and you took over deep inside Virginia territory and don't even attempt a field goal.
Don't attempt a field goal, don't even have a shot to, and you don't pin them deep. So you missed on all 3 elements there and didn't take advantage of winning the field position battle or having the field position battle.
You know, we were talking earlier about the real challenge to this North Carolina defensive front by Geoff Collins. The Tar Heels have 3 sacks in this game already. They had 15 sacks for the entire year coming into this game today. So it's
snap when Virginia was knocking on the end zone.
Boy, to say the least, it was 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. Landry going to keep it himself, able to make the turn upfield, and that's enough for a first down. Up to the 33-yard line. Well, during the end of the quarter. Yeah, what a player he was here at Virginia. Native Pennsylvanian Matt Schaub went on to play in the National Football League for 16 years.
That's getting it done. Houston Texans all-time leading passer. Met him in the media lobby. Was walking by him. I was like, yo, I know you. What a career.
Went to a couple of Pro Bowls, threw for over 25,000 yards in his NFL career. They got a pretty good quarterback right now for the Houston Texans.
I'd say so.
Not bad.
What's your quota for Ohio State references in a broadcast?
Well, we're not knocking on the door yet. We'll get there. Well, it's either that or the music they play on the field before the game.
All right, yep, true. So we're at 2. We're at 2. 1 on the live on air, but you get 4 a game, 1 a quarter.
All right, that's fair enough.
I guess the Ohio U and then Indiana reference too.
Well, that's right. That's exactly right. Indiana's undefeated. You got to talk about them.
True. You were here from the jump as we look at our ace cam. Virginia trying to get the running game going. Have the benefit of not only having running backs to go to there, but we saw Calandria's legs in the first down run.
All right, it's a 3rd down. They're going to throw it. They're going to run it. They're going to run it this time, and they're not going to get it. That's a 1-yard loss. All right, Max, are you at your own 40? No, the decision's been made. They're not going for it.
Byproduct of trust in your defense and knowing there's a lot of game left. I think if this was not, this is 4th and 3. Yeah, this is 4th and this is a full 3 too. If it's 4th and 2, you might be thinking about it, but we're seeing right there. K'Mon Rucker, defensive end for North Carolina. He's an NFL caliber guy, been extremely productive for North Carolina, getting right in there and stopping him on a big 3rd down.
Carolina's defense, which has been woeful to say the least during this 4-game losing streak. This punt is blasted. And it dribbles into the end zone. Daniel Sparks thought he had that thing down around the 1. He nearly did. CW Football Saturdays presented. Decided to come. North Carolina won that game.
Just
and
catching some ball with the wife.
4 years later, 3 years later. That's right.
First picture of the original Guardian caps.
When you're breaking out quotes from Calvin Coolidge, you got to be digging deep, and that's what Coach Elliott told us yesterday. His story is unbelievable. Talent will not take the place of persistent. Nothing is more common.
I love that.
His story, and many of you have heard it before who are Virginia fans, but he lived his early childhood homeless on the streets of Los Angeles. He was 9 years old when his mother died in a car accident. They were in and out of shelters all over LA. He moved to South Carolina to live with his aunt and uncle. Went on to be a big football and basketball star in Charleston. Walked on as a football player at Clemson and later became the team captain. Unbelievable story. Crossing pattern, that's Hampton out of the backfield. Look at this guy go. Mercy, mercy.
Good luck to that first guy trying to take him down. Criswell's going to work his eyes back to the left. Get the ball to his playmaker. 2 guys trying to get him down. You're seeing again that contact balance. It's the key buzzword with Omarion Hampton. So difficult to get down. We'll see it here with the ace cam. Criswell, good job working his progressions. And then right there, Ump's almost involved. Talk so much about what he can do on the ground game, but he's a weapon in the pass game as well.
Yeah, he's going to play a lot of football on Sundays in the not too distant future, maybe as early as next year. Criswell with a lot of running room. He slides down at the 48-yard line, and that's a first down for North Carolina. They're going to spot it actually back at the 50. Boy, that he barely got there.
It's going to be right where he begins his slide. I think it's a good spot. It kind of took him a while to get down on his left side. But that's right where he started it.
Blown dead before it ever got started. I'm wondering if they're going to look at this spot.
Timeout. Virginia, they're first. 30 seconds.
Virginia calls a timeout. First used by Coach Elliott.
And we're sitting next to the North Carolina coaches booth next to us, and you could hear them erupt thinking that Tony Elliott did not get that timeout in time. And back to Coach Elliott's quote, too. You could tell, yes, that was a Coolidge quote, but the timing. Virginia as a program is very much at a crossroads. In year 3 with Tony Elliott, you're coming off a Clemson game where you lost, but you have confidence. And if you're going to take that step, which year 3 is such a big year for when you're building the program, like it's got to happen now. The back end of the season, take that confidence from the Clemson game and get this team to a bowl game. That's the next step. And with a schedule that Virginia has coming up with 5 of their remaining games, 5 of their 6 remaining games are against ranked opponents. Clemson starting last week. Obviously, North Carolina here unranked, but after that, you got an SMU that's ranked, you got a Notre Dame that's ranked, you got a Pitt that's ranked. This is a Virginia team that it's kind of now or never to take that step.
Fabian Goss checks in, giving a breather to Hampton. No gain on first down. Let's go downstairs to Carla.
Yeah, guys, you were talking about the loss to Clemson and just how much confidence that could give him. Malachi Fields told me this week, like, that is truly what they feel with that loss, that, yeah, they struggled with it, but they're going to learn from it, and that's, of course, going to help them with the rest of their schedule even after this game.
Yeah, it's great stuff, Carla. You know, it was interesting when you get beat the way they got beat, but to hear them talk about actually gaining confidence that physically they could play that game. Long completion. And keeping his hands underneath the football is McCollum. First down, North Carolina to the Virginia 25-yard line.
It's an excellent throw and catch right there. Criswell on the run. McCollum making a dive and sliding catch.
Flag on a first down run by Goss.
Holt, defense, number 18. 10-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Michael Deotta.
I'm feeling North Carolina's tempo more this game than 2 weeks ago versus Georgia Tech. A lot of those big plays must be a point of emphasis, getting back on the line of scrimmage, taking advantage of that momentum and trying to get this Cavaliers defense on their heels.
So it's a first down at the 15-yard line after the penalty against UVA. Criswell, that's a design quarterback draw. And he carries down close to the 12, maybe the 11. 4-yard pickup on first down. Neither one of these teams particularly good in the red zone. You know, North Carolina with touchdowns, 17 of 27. That ranks 67th in the FBS.
Struggle for them 2 weeks ago, and you said it. With Criswell's legs, it's a little bit surprising.
That was a straight drop by the highly touted true freshman Jordan Shipp. Another native North Carolinian, 4-star high school recruit, decided to stay and play at UNC. You got third down and 8.
This was 2 weeks ago. I'd be dialing up Bryson Nesbitt, their tight end. He's no longer involved. I'd try to get J.J. Jones. He's really coming on. Bottom of your screen, one-on-one.
Dump it off to the other tight end, Copenhaver. And he gets to, he stepped out of bounds at the 12-yard line. So Out comes the field goal unit.
It's tough to run this delayed tight end screen to the short side of the field because you just don't have much grass to work with. Credit the awareness from this Virginia defense. They're flying around. Kendron Smith at that corner spot coming up and force him out of bounds.
Noah Burnett. He's only missed twice all year long. A year ago, missed once. He's a good one. Graduate student. Good snap, good hold, and good kick. Tar Heels able to cash in with the field goal, extending the lead to 7. 10-3 here, and still makes his home in New York. Hope he's doing well. And we hope Mike Yam is doing well. Michael, how are you? Good. Hokies will be on the road next week at Syracuse. Well, that was a tough one for the Orangemen the other night. Kyle McCord, what, 3 pick sixes?
The Panthers got after him, baby.
Oh, see, I learned from one of the best. Calandria took a big shot as he went leaping into the air over on the North Carolina sideline.
Yeah, tried to hurdle a North Carolina defender. Clipped his left leg, and then Hardy pushed him out of bounds. Funny, it was Marcus Allen on the sideline dressed in that uniform chirping at him, who was a late scratch at corner.
Xavier Brown, we talked about this young fella. If they can get him on the field. He had a big game earlier this year, 171 rushing yards against Coastal Carolina. He's been bothered by a tricep injury. And now healthy again. Ball is loose and covered up by UVA. That is the 4th sack of Calandria in this game.
Yeah, you're going to see Jacolby Cowan, number 93. And Javari Ritzy as well. Man, this North Carolina pass rush, we felt them today. That might be the difference in this game so far. And that's really been a head scratcher for me going into this game. It's a defensive line with a lot of talent. Defensively, North Carolina's defense has struggled. But you look at their front 4, and they can roll 8 guys in there. Cowan's certainly one of them, 93. They got some dudes.
Good protection this time. Strong catch. Made by who else? Malachi Fields. There is a flag in the secondary right in front of the Virginia bench.
The ace Cam, little dig route right behind the linebackers in the soft spot of the zones. When you have a frame like Fields does at 6'4", 220, comebacks on the outside, digs, breaking inside, and obviously downfield red zone throws
to the pass.
Need to be part of your deal.
Holding. Defense, number 28. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
Malachi Fields, 3 100-yard games already this year, Carla. He might be in store for another today.
Yeah, and he's really tapping into that mentality from the big win over UNC just last year. He said different team, different season, but we know that we've got the experience to really take them down again despite UNC's struggles this season. He said we're really hoping to tap into that mentality today because he said last year's win was a total team effort, one of the biggest team wins he's ever been a part of.
That was a stunner, this matchup
huge.
A year ago.
You come in and shock a number 10 ranked team in the country, North Carolina last year. Drake May, big win.
Colangelo just throws it away under heavy pressure again. And again, it was Bo Atkinson. You hit the nail on the head. I thought you made a great point there, Max. I mean, you look at these guys, and these, like you said, these are dudes. And yet only 15 sacks a whole year.
Yeah, when we're prepping on one side, you see stats for North Carolina defense. It's bad. They're bottom of the country in a lot of statistical categories. But then you look at the talent, especially from a defensive line standpoint. They got dudes, and defensive coordinator Jeff Collins knows that. He challenged them this week. He says we can play with anyone when we're at our best, but it's the pitfalls that have gotten to him this year, the down points.
Boy, great job by Campbell in coverage. He was the one that forced basically just throwing the ball away right there as he was chased by Eccles.
Love the awareness by Eccles. You get inside the box to set the edge, and then you break outside, and you got to keep Calandria contained too. Can't jump at him prematurely or else he'll get the edge. So we're seeing defensive coordinator right there, Jeff Collins, former Georgia Tech head coach, now coming here and leading this Tar Heel defense.
So defense during this 4-game losing streak is giving up 41 points per game, including 70 against James Madison. Did he get the first down? He did. Virginia needed that.
Yes, they did. 3rd and long. It's not there. Calandria, alarm's got to go off in your head to pick it up with your legs. The coaching point for North Carolina all week was that a bull rush is a good rush, meaning that you don't have to get upfield because when you do, you lose contain. Right there, look at his leg.
Right down the middle, and the catch made by Fields.
Later in the football, Calandria finds Fields right down the middle. With his frame on a safety, just give him a shot. He is a problem for opposing defenses. And I'd go right back to him. You're in the red zone, you go one-on-one. He is a matchup mismatch.
Well, he's at the top of your screen up there. That might be where they're heading. First down. Virginia needing a touchdown. Yep, they're looking for him. And some miscommunication there. Fields went in. Calandria threw the ball towards the corner.
That's too bad, too, because you had the offensive linemen. They were moving towards the left. I think they needed Fields in the blocking concept. As a former quarterback, I take that as Calandria thinks he has an alert on the outside. Fields thinks he's part of the blocking scheme with an outside run to that side, and it's just a miscommunication. They talked about Fields past couple of weeks. Big talking point is moving him inside of the slot. Try to get him mismatches on the linebackers and the safeties, take advantage of his skill set.
Quarterback run. Played well defensively by North Carolina. That's an excellent job by the big fella, Kevin Hester. That guy's a load now.
He's really coming on, too. Both these defensive tackles for North Carolina can generate pressure. Hester Jr. there and Ritzie as well. And that's a first for me, Tom. I've never seen the walkie-talkie. Never seen the headset and the walkie-talkie,
Wow.
which I'm sure he's, as college football fans know, new rule in college football this year, you can wear the green dot. One player on the defense can communicate with Jeff Collins up until 16 seconds left on the play clock.
All right, 3rd down. They can't get a first down. And again, somebody's got tangled up. No penalty flag comes in. You had Huzzy and Fields squaring off here. What do you think?
This was physical for sure. Again, we're seeing Fields in the slot. Huzzy's fist fighting. I think if Fields doesn't, it's almost like he fell down. I don't mind that call. Keep in mind, we've talked about it. Marcus Allen, North Carolina's starting corner. He was their big body corner, 6'1", 190. They expected him to cover Malachi Fields much of the day-to-day. Huzzy's having to step up and be that guy that covers Fields. Excellent coverage.
So a field goal try right down the middle from 27 yards out by Bettridge. So again, drive stall in the red zone for Virginia. But it's a 4-point game. Touchdowns.
We're right at that middle 8 point of the game. Last 4 minutes of the first half, first 4 of the second half. Big talking point for Tony Elliott. They felt like that's where the game got away from them last week versus Clemson.
McCollum will let it go into the end zone and out to the 25. We talked about the game a year ago. North Carolina was undefeated, ranked 10th in the country. Drake May led the Tar Heels to a 3-point lead in the 4th, but then Tony Muskett finds Malik Washington for a touchdown, a 4-point lead. Carolina then driving, and then our incredible ace up cam. The look at James Jackson's game-sealing interception.
Yes. That's great eyes by the ump right there. Big-time pick. Changed the course of North Carolina's year.
That was the first ever road win over a top 10 team in Virginia history.
What an adjustment it's had to have been for Mack Brown this year. You go from Sam Howell to Drake May to then the quarterback situation they've had this year where Max Johnson starts the year, week 1, goes down with a terrible injury. Go to the second guy, Connor Harrell, and then now you're on your third string quarterback and doing great. There's a lot of teams around the country, you get your third string quarterback, it's bad news. Hasn't been the case for North Carolina offensively.
That's a really nice catch right there. And there's Hampton breaking tackles, but a penalty flag is behind the line of scrimmage. This might come back.
Personal foul, roughing the passer.
Oh.
Defense, number 8. 15-yard, 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's Trey McDonald, and that tacks on 15 more yards. Carla, how about this quarterback situation? It's been crazy for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, it's been a challenge for Mack Brown, but also for guys like J.J. Jones, who said you got to factor in their difference in throwing mechanics, how they build chemistry, and says he just told the wide receiver group, though, guys, we got to forget about all of that, and sometimes you just got to go and make a play.
That might be the hardest working young lady in all of sports television.
Seriously. I was riding with her yesterday. Multiple sports, 2 young kids. Carla's getting it done.
She is.
You're seeing it right there. Max Johnson started the first game, went down with a terrible injury. And the story of Jacoby Criswell, who started at North Carolina, transferred away when Drake May cemented himself as a starter, and now he's back, and it's his team.
Gain of a yard on first down by Hampton. Now, Criswell was not promised anything by Mack Brown and the staff. The Tar Heels were going into the fall camp knowing that Harrell had played well in the bowl game last year, knowing that Johnson, has had his moments when healthy at LSU and Texas A&M.
Yep.
So for all intents and purposes, Criswell thought he was coming back to be the number 3 guy, maybe move up to number 2. Boy, how about that? And able to break a tackle is J.J. Jones, and he's inside the 15-yard line.
What a catch by J.J. Jones. Criswell's going to paint it on his back shoulder. And you make next man miss. Dre Walker, the corner for Virginia. That easily could have been a pick going the other way. Credit Criswell for putting it on the back shoulder. It's a great catch by J.J. Jones and another explosive play, which has been a critical component to this game.
25-yard gain. We've reached the 2-minute timeout. Tar Heels trying to add to this 4-point lead when we come back.
game summary presented by Pacific Life. Great financial security for over 150 years. J.J. Jones got the Tar Heels on the board early. Explosive plays have been a key factor in this game. North Carolina's had 4 over 20 yards, and then the Tar Heels defense, especially the defensive line. Amari Campbell getting in there on a sack. Bo Atkinson as well.
Hampton just breaking tackles, running through tackles. This guy is a monster. 13th carry of the day. He's up over close to 60 yards rushing.
What a luxury it is to have it back when you get in the tight red zone. You can just hand it off and know that even if you make contact with him at 3 yards, he's going to fall forward.
He ran into a whole fleet of Cavaliers there on first down and goal. Picked up a yard, maybe 2, as we are down to 1:35 and a timeout is called by Virginia.
Tony Elliott trying to make sure that his offense gets one more drive, not allowing North Carolina to just bleed this clock. Marion Hampton closing in on that 1,000-yard career mark.
You know, in the college game, when you have a sack for a quarterback as an example, you know, I mean, for the life of me, I don't understand why that counts against your rushing yardage. It does not in the professional game.
That's the big reason why I didn't have a lot of rushing yards in my career.
I know that. You were sacked so much. I mean, you're running like crazy.
Nah, I wish I had Criswell and Calandria's legs.
They're hurrying up to the line of scrimmage. And they pitch it to Hampton, and he will roll into the end zone, a touchdown. Can't even tackle him. So with 1:32 to play until halftime, North Carolina gets a touchdown from Hampton.
What a drive as we see the ace Cam got the ball with about 4 minutes left on the clock. What a way to finish out this first half for this North Carolina offense, leaning on their best player, Omarion Hampton. Like the call too. Tight red zone, running right behind the guards and centers hasn't really worked necessarily. You pitch it to the outside, you use the big body of J.J. Jones, the receiver spot on the outside, the big tackles as well. Howard Sampson, 325 pounds, find a way to get in the end zone.
Well, they're looking for a win. We were there 2 weeks ago when we learned that Tylee Craft had passed away at the age of 23. They have a decal on the back of their helmets. So too does Virginia. This was last week when his mother was in attendance. She came up. She's a police officer down in Sumter, South Carolina. We told the story about how Mac's wife Sally was on an elevator with Tylee in the football facility more than a year ago, and all of a sudden he winced in pain that his back was bothering, and they thought back spasms. Healthy, young man. They treat him for back spasms. Found out it was lung cancer. And you know, he was named a Spirit Award winner, the most inspirational figure in all of college football. They've recently named the University of North Carolina Football Nutrition Office after him. They're going to have those decals all year long.
Two of the mottos have been keep swinging and Tylee strong. It's going to live on forever as we head down to Carla.
Yeah, Max, they've also got a traveling sign that they're traveling with for the rest of this season. It reads Tylee strong, keep swinging. It's in the locker room right now. They touch it on before they take the field. They've also got, you mentioned the Nutrition Center. That's now called the Tylee Craft Nutrition Center. And then one wide receiver every day at practice gets to don that number 13, with one getting the big honor during the game. And we mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, but Kobe Pacer, that's the guy wearing it today.
And Mack Brown talked about what the life lessons have been for his team, and especially these young men. Now, look, they have new players that didn't get to know Tylee all that well, but they have a lot more that do and did. And, you know, he said, look, you can lose 3 tight games, but there's a lot worse than that.
No doubt, no doubt. And Coach Brown talked about handling grief and how he's reached out and read up and how that nets out differently with different guys in today's transfer portal era. There's a lot of guys on this team that didn't know necessarily Ty Lee, and there's also guys that were incredibly close with him. Same recruiting class, having to navigate that, coaches in their mental health, players in their mental health. It's obviously a much bigger deal than just football. And it did feel like the bye week, though, given the circumstance, came at the perfect time for this program to really honor him.
These kids have really had a tough go of it. Meanwhile, North Carolina might get the football back here because it's back-to-back incomplete passes, burning a total of, 8 seconds off the clock. And now it's 3rd down and 10. And another throw. And Calandria has already been sacked 4 times, make it 5. And I would imagine Carolina spends a timeout here. To stop the clock, I am stunned they're not taking a timeout here. And there it is. They finally do with 1:10 left.
You're seeing exactly the coaching point Jeff Collins gave his defenses. A bull rush is a good rush. None of those guys are coming around the edge. They're keeping Calandria in the pocket, not allowing him to escape, and then the pocket slowly condenses down. They're pointing at each other, doing the Spider-Man celebration because all those guys, even into the linebacker spot, Amari Campbell, we've talked about his name a bunch too. The pass rush has shown out today.
That was Desmond Evans getting his first sack, and now punting from his own end zone is Daniel Sparks. Low line drive punt. Boy, he is such a savvy return guy, man. I mean, he has made 3 really good decisions in this game.
And they're subtle. One right there. I mean, that's a really difficult punt to catch. There was another one early on in the game where Virginia could have easily pinned North Carolina, but Huzzy deked out the gunner. The gunner runs towards the sideline. He's not able to recover the fumble or recover the punt, and it dribbles into the end zone. It's subtle plays from that return spot that have been key moments, and when we had him 2 weeks ago, he returned one for a touchdown. So the complete returner.
All right, so now looking for more, perhaps, with 1:10 left. Why not? Criswell, great protection. Now it breaks down. He dumps it off to Hampton. He sidesteps a defender, breaks another tackle, is caught from behind, crossing midfield. And the clock continues to run.
And Cam Robinson slow to get up for Virginia's defense. He was right there on the tackle for Amarian Hampton. It looked like his shoulder's banged up. He did not wrap up on Hampton. Maybe as a result, he goes for a big gain.
Hampton still on his feet, picks up a first down. That'll temporarily stop the clock until they reset the football. Carolina hustling up to the line of scrimmage, and Virginia's got a player down.
Yeah, it's Cam Robinson. It's what I mentioned. You can see, I mean, it's something with his arm. And when you give that arm angle, you never know. That arm angle to me is his shoulder, but you never know. But I think it was a factor on the first pass attempt where they dumped it down to Amarian Hampton. I think 10 times out of 10, Cam Robinson wraps up like a traditional linebacker tackle. He kind of dove at him with one shoulder. It allowed Hampton to escape, and obviously he's banged up right there.
Goss checks into the game. Hampton out. All day to throw it. And now Criswell's going to run. That took a lot of time, and no one was able to get open. Good job by Virginia down the field. Now, if you're thinking about the field goal kicker here in Burnett, he is 2 for 2 from 50 and beyond. His season long is 52 yards. They need to get about another 7 yards to line up a 52-yarder.
And with having 2 timeouts in your back pocket, you can still throw something over the middle.
Crossing pattern, that's a tight end, Copenhaver. He is banged down close to a first down. And he did not get there, so the clock will now be stopped on a timeout by North Carolina. 17 seconds remain.
Let's glance at the ace ump cam. It's going to be an over route by John Copenhaver. Oh, what a look right there. See 3 Cavalier defenders tracking Copenhagen. He dropped one early on in the game. Good to see him come down with that one.
Jonas Sanker delivered the big hit there. Sanker has had an outstanding career at Virginia. Local kid, grew up in Charlottesville. All right, so 18 seconds. They're going to put one back on. And they are within field goal range. It would be a long one for sure.
No doubt, if you're Criswell, just can't take a sack. I don't mind taking one more shot across the middle. If Virginia's going to be defending against the sideline and the edges.
They run it, and it's enough for a first down, which will stop the clock. 14 seconds left, and again, they will crank it back up once the ball is set and put in play. And a spike by Criswell. So you have a timeout left, like you said, and you can take another shot or maybe 2.
Yeah, it's interesting where certainly don't want to take a sack. Again, with one timeout in your back pocket, I don't mind calling something over the middle potentially to the bottom of your screen. Then if you have one-on-one to the top, give yourself a downfield shot there as well.
Again, great protection and looking for Jones in the corner. Back shoulder, he caught it. Flag is down, it's a touchdown. Can you believe that? What an extraordinary play made by J.J. Jones in the closing
Pass
seconds of the half.
Defense number 9. Penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
This is a phenomenal adjustment to the football. He opens up his hips, does basically a 360 to complete this catch. A little bit underthrown, but you don't mind that as a quarterback. Give your receiver a shot to make this play. He's one-on-one with Jam Jackson, the corner. Does he secure it and still have the feet down? That'll be the big question.
Only needs one, remember.
Secured there, left foot's down. I think that's a touchdown. That is a phenomenal catch. It's one thing to high point the football. It's a whole other thing when it has you turned around in a 360 and you got to get your feet down.
Point after is good. What a day for Jones. 4 catches, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns. And that's a 31-yard score right there.
And that's been a huge message from Chip Lindsey, North Carolina's offensive coordinator, to his receivers. J.J. Jones and the entire unit come down with contested catches. There's been plays to be made. They have the talent on the outside, but for whatever reason so far this season haven't necessarily come down with them. Jacoby Criswell loves it. He knows how big that moment is. And we talked about it at the middle 8. When there was 4 minutes left in this second quarter, how critical this sequence would be. North Carolina has 2 touchdowns to end this second quarter.
Man, and you go back to the decision of the 3 straight passes, and let's be honest about it. I mean, you know, you don't blame them for thinking about trying to get down the field with 1:10, 1:15 left in the half. Calandria missed 2 wide open receivers. North Carolina team losers of 4 straight games where they've given up on average 41 points per game. That defense has been rock solid here today.
They really have.
5 sacks. They came in with 15 the entire year. I'm not sure that's exactly
Kick out of bounds.
was
Kicking
intended
team
there.
number 97. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Yeah, Mack Brown's got to be pleased. It feels like a lot of the key talking points in terms of getting pressure on the quarterback, contested catches, they've answered the bell coming out of their bye week.
Well, we talked about Carolina losers of 4 in a row. Virginia started the year 5-1 before back-to-back losses. Had a couple of big-time comebacks, erasing 2 touchdown deficits in the fourth quarter. And that'll put an exclamation point on this first half. A half dominated by this North Carolina defense. 6, Atkinson, Ritzie, and Rucker. Virginia to get the football to start the second half, and let's go downstairs to Carla Gebhardt.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, pretty frustrated Coach Elliott coming out after the half. He said he took a little bit longer to talk to his guys. He says they've got to come out fast in this game. He said it has nothing to do with their physical ability, but all of the fact that their guys just did not come to play in this first half. So he's looking for a lot more from his players. I also asked for an update on Cam Robinson, the linebacker. He left the game early in the half, but he injured his left shoulder pretty early in that half. They are hoping he is going to give it a go this half, though.
All right, good stuff, Carla. Thank you. Virginia, on its first drive, you may remember, went right down the field, had to settle for a field goal, though they had it first and goal from the 1. Design quarterback keeper, and that'll be a gain of close to 5 on first down. After that drive, they ran 23 plays for a total of 51 yards. Carolina, meanwhile, scored on all 3 second quarter possessions, a pair of touchdowns and a field goal. Landry in the opening half, 5 out of 14. Bluffs the throw and is run out of bounds short of a first down. So it's a big third down right from the get-go for the UVA offense.
We flash him right there. That's great awareness by Stick Lane, the safety for North Carolina. He recognizes that they want to get their quarterback involved in the run game. He comes flying down on the outside, keeping contained on the quarterback run game. I thought it was interesting, too, Tony Elliott, he structures practice around ensuring his team can start fast in the third quarter with some of the competitive drills right after they take a break midway through the timeout in practice.
And it's intercepted. Running for his life the entire game has been Calandria, and Campbell, who has a sack, is now tucked in an interception.
They're going to get Kamon Rucker here, actually the defensive end. As Calandria rolls to his left, the one-time Rucker does not rush the passer. He's the pass rush specialist. This time they drop him back. He's using his athleticism right there. Look at the big guy go down and get this thing. We'll see the ace ump cam here. That's great hands from a defensive end. Man, are they glad that he's healthy. He's been banged up much of the year. Played banged up versus Georgia Tech 2 weeks ago. The bye week's been huge for him.
Yeah, my bad. I thought I saw 17. It was 7. Rucker, his first game back was Georgia Tech after missing the prior 4. And he's only played in 3 games the entire season. Remember, this is a young man who a year ago was first in the ACC in sack yards. Fake it. And a nice little floater down the sideline. And able to keep his hands around it and get close to the 10-yard line is McCollum.
And Virginia's lucky, too, because J.J. Jones in the slot was running wide open. It's usually not a progression you get to when you're rolling out to your left. Usually you're looking for the guy on the sideline, which is where Criswell threw the ball.
Here's Hampton on first down. He's inside the 10.
And, man, we blink, and this is North Carolina had all the momentum to end the first half. Obviously, they doubled down on that with the interception, and then they're using tempo. You get the sense that they feel Virginia's on their heels.
You almost, wonder as you look at some of the numbers for the Tar Heels. Excellent quarterback play. Jones, a monster first half. Couple of touchdown receptions, nearly 100 receiving yards. And Hampton breaks a tackle, looking for the corner. He dives into the end zone, his second touchdown of the game. Starting to say, you almost wonder if Virginia considers making a change at quarterback and going with Tony Muskett here. Maybe just not one of those days.
This right here is Omarion Hampton's best trait. He's got 2 guys down by his legs. Doesn't faze him at all. Shakes the tackle. He's patient, but powerful as well. showing why he's one of the best backs in the country. It's him and Cam Butler, the defensive end for Virginia, one-on-one. He's able to shake that tackler and get in for 6.
8-yard touchdown run for Hampton. He has a pair of scores. Jones a pair of touchdowns. Point after is good. What a performance by North Carolina on the road at Virginia. The lines there, if you will.
I do not think we're here without the changes in transfer portal and NIL, and that's basically what he's saying. Current environment, when he was hired here, it was an entirely different landscape of college athletics, and Tony Bennett's the guy that's built his program on getting guys in, having them wait their turn, maybe redshirt, and then being impact players as juniors and seniors. But nowadays, most sports, men's basketball or football, if you're not playing right away, man, that transfer portal is an attractive spot for a lot of guys, and it's tough to navigate when you have this that kind of coaching style.
With his legendary father, longtime head coach, Washington State, Wisconsin.
That's how I remember him, the Klay Thompson, Washington State era with Tony Bennett.
Yep. Boy, what a great coach and an even greater guy. I mean, if you've got a problem with Tony Bennett, then you've got a problem.
What was it? It was Big T and Little T. That's what Coach Elliott was saying. With,
yep.
Tony Bennett and Tony Elliott. Got a great relationship. Don't always say that between basketball coach and football coach.
Carly, you had something to add on Tony Bennett.
Yeah, the whole football team was there for that presser for Coach Bennett, and Coach Elliott said it was important for them to show support in that way. He said, hey, I might actually be able to get Bennett out to a football practice now. He's never been before, and Coach Elliott said, man, I'd welcome that opportunity to have him on the field with us.
For sure.
And man, they've started slow these first 2 plays again.
Yeah, look at it, a
huge third down.
Better protection for a change. Crossing pattern, and you're throwing, and the guy's nowhere near the sticks.
And at this point, you got to think about going for it. I know there's almost 2 full quarters back, or two full quarters left, and they're gonna punt and stand instead. You can see Calandri, his eyes go Fields' way. Obviously, North Carolina, they know that he's the guy. So we see our ace Umpcam, nowhere to go, credit the coverage, and again, North Carolina able to keep Calandria in the pocket with only 3 guys. That means you have 8 defenders dropping back. It's hard to find a window to complete a pass within that.
Huzzy stands back at his own 22-yard line, awaiting the punt from Daniel Sparks. And a false start. Boy.
False start. Offense number 20. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
I mean, Tom, you look back at it. We said when there was 4 minutes left in the second quarter, we talked about the importance of the middle 8 for Tony Elliott and how he emphasized it for his team. Past 3 drives for North Carolina, you score with 1:32 left, touchdown. You score with 5 seconds left, touchdown. And then the pick that we saw there and another touchdown. So the momentum is entirely on the Tar Heels side.
Huzzy, a fair catch at the 25-yard line.
We've mentioned it. They've got all the momentum, the Tar Heels do. Kamen Rucker with the interception right there. He's not pass rushing on that one, but the pick instead gives it to their best player.
Playoff seat up. The drive to the championship taking shape. Which of the 8 remaining drivers make their run to the title? That's from Homestead, Miami, coming up next, only on the CW. Hampton on first down, and it'll be a steady dose of him, one would assume, here in the second half.
Man, is he physical. You can sense just in this second half trying to wear down this Virginia defense. I mean, they make contact with him at 3 yards. He's able to fall forward for 6. It's an efficient way to start a drive.
93 yards so far today for Hampton. He's 6 away from reaching 1,000 for the year. Play action. Flag down. This will probably come back as Criswell able to stay on his feet, dive across the 40. But We await on the judiciary.
They had I think there's two separate flags here too. They're going to get
2 fouls on the play, both by the offense. Holding number 78, penalty is declined. Holding number 58, 10-yard penalty. It's second down.
They're going to get Travion Green and Austin Blaske. I guess, Tom, if you're going to have holding penalties, might as well get them out of your way, both in the same play.
I tell you, one of my favorite players in college football wears number 53 for North Carolina, Willie Lampkin. You know, I mean, for the life of me, and maybe you can fill in the blanks here, right, as a player. You know, Lampkin is a stud. He transferred in from Coastal Carolina, a high school state wrestling champion. He's not very tall. There's a slant, and off to the races is Jones. Another big catch for him. He's up over 100 for the day.
This right here is the same play call that J.J. Jones scored on in the first quarter. Little wide receiver screen. He's going to work right underneath as the offensive line's out to block. And again, makes another guy miss in the second level. So it easily could have been a 6-yard catch. Instead, it's a explosive play for greater than 20 yards.
You know, getting back to Lampkin here for a minute. I mean, this guy is 5'11", almost 300 pounds. Big shot delivered on the quarterback, Criswell. Couple of Cavalier defenders there, led by Smiley along with Kendron Smith.
It's really one of the first times we've talked about the Virginia pass rush being a factor. Kendron Smith, the cornerback, he's getting blitzed in there along with Lampkin. Anytime you get underneath the armpit when the quarterback's throwing, that's where those ducks and those floaters happen, where you're not able to get everything on it, and sometimes an interception can happen.
Second down carry is to Hampton. He's to the 45-yard line. You know, to tie a ribbon around Lampkin, you know, everybody says, you know, he's not tall enough to play guard in the NFL. What exactly does that mean? He's not tall enough to play guard. You either block people or you don't, right?
I think the offensive line gurus correlate height with then arm length.
Yep.
And then arm length becomes the challenge for obvious reasons. But I'm with you. If you got a guy that's in there that can, I mean, if you're smaller, sometimes you're more athletic. And with some of these run schemes that are outside zone run schemes and you need your offensive line to run, it can be a big factor.
Well, he's really athletic. Wide open across the middle of the field. And the catch is made by Chris Culliver. First time we've called his name today. Young man out of Maiden, North Carolina.
This is a really good job by Omarion Hampton picking up the blitz. He's on the left side of the quarterback, comes back all the way around. It allows Criswell to break outside the pocket. And then for Virginia, their nickel, Corey Thomas, just got lost. He's so worried about Criswell's legs outside the pocket. Then you snuck a receiver right behind him for an easy pass and catch. Break in the pocket.
Jones in motion, and they flip it to him. But it's McCollum who takes a flip, and penalty flags are down.
Holt, offense, number 81. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's Copenhaver, the tight end. Every time they've tried that jet sweep or double reverse with a wide receiver, it hadn't had much success. About the only thing that hadn't gone well for North Carolina.
Trying to do the counter off of everyone paying attention to Omarion Hampton, but honestly, no need. He's had such a successful day.
Countdown is on. 4 away now. Hampton rushed for over 1,500 last year. He figures to go over that this year. He's averaging 127 yards per game. Not much running room that time. Don't think he got to 1,000, needing 4.
This drive, too, North Carolina's got a lot more 12 personnel, counting on the young Jake Johnson as the second tight end, especially out of that formation right there. You need your tight ends to block and set the edge. That's That's the beauty of having a back like Omarion Hampton, though. Even when you're not perfect, even when you don't have necessarily your best blockers in there or some younger faces, he can make you right.
5:20 to play in the third quarter. Second down. And the catch made by Paysour will bring up third down. And again, he's wearing, for those of you that weren't with us, wearing the jersey number of the late Tylee Craft, who passed away 2 weeks ago today. They have the funeral Sunday in Sumter, South Carolina. Huge turnout at his high school for that. Our thoughts and prayers to his so many great friends, his mom, extended family, able to get it off, but that'll be a loss on the play. So this would be an extremely long field goal attempt.
It's not an insignificant loss because you're right on that range of giving it a shot. We saw North Carolina have a similar scenario early on in the game where they elected to try to attempt a dig route and pick up all of the first down yardage, and they were forced to punt, which is, as we know, in this area on the 33-yard lines, an awkward area to even try to punt it, but they're going to give their kicker a shot at a 50-yard attempt.
Well, it's 2 for 2 from 50 and beyond this year. That's Noah Burnett. His season long is 52. And he pulled this one off to the left. Wide left, had plenty of distance, but no good. That's the first thing that's gone right for Virginia in quite a while. Parents' weekend here in Charlottesville. Yeah, some of our four-legged buddies hanging around. Love it. Carolina losing streak, but they have been lights out here today.
Man, was the bye week good to Jeff Collins and his bunch. Totally different story today, and really it's playing in the backfield. 7 sacks so far today, 6 different guys, 9 total tackles for loss.
But Jeff Collins, he told his guys, we got to start getting after people, Carla.
Yeah, he did. And of course, you know, when the defense struggles, coaches may emphasize those bad plays more in the film room, but Jeff Collins did it differently this week, picking out about 10 to 12 clips of them executing, even going back to their high school days. And Amari Campbell said, man, that helps so much to see them play well together on the film in front of everybody. He said it just adds confidence to what we're doing today.
We just mentioned 7 sacks. They had a total of 15 all year long. He still got that, he double-fisted down there.
Yeah, I want to know what the story is with that. We get another North Carolina game, I'm asking him. Because the headset presumably goes to his coaching staff, and I guess the microphone to his players, but then he's also talking on the walkie-talkie when there's less than 16 seconds left.
Open receiver, and the catch made. Good enough for another Virginia first down to the 45-yard line. Eli Wood, they're getting some backups in the game now for UVA.
And you can see what Des Kitchens, Virginia's offensive coordinator, is trying to do. One, they're using tempo to try to get their quarterback in a rhythm, but it's got to be a steady dose of the quick game. Don't let these pass rushers get involved.
That's the 8th sack of the game by the North Carolina defense, and a couple of them today for Kaimon Rucker.
We got to start tracking too. Kaimon Rucker came into this game with 17 career sacks. That puts him at 19, I believe. Good old Lawrence Taylor had 21 in his North Carolina career, so he's closing in.
Good for him. Healthy again, trying to finish strong. Graduate student. Rucker also has an interception in this game.
Doing it all.
Bothered with a bad knee all year long. What a play behind the line of scrimmage here on second down.
And I mentioned the quick passing game. You got to do it for a couple of reasons. One, the downfield passes allow these edge rushers to pin their ears back, so that one minimizes that impact. But the run game's been non-existent for Virginia. And so if the quick game can at least try to get you some sort of soften up this defense just a little bit, get your quarterback in rhythm, get the ball out of his hands, that to me is really the only answer, only thing that Virginia can go to based on what they've shown today.
Third down, and caught. And the extra effort is good enough for a first down. First time we've called the name Tyler Neville today. He is their second leading receiver on the year, the transfer from Harvard.
You see the ace ump cam, little dig right behind the ump cam. It's a great look and a phenomenal catch by Tyler Neville.
And on his feet is Jaden Gibson. That'll be another Virginia first down to the North Carolina 16.
It's good feel by Gibson right there in zone coverage. That's probably the best timing throw, and the first time we've really seen Calandria drive a football in that vacated window. That's a good sign as this passing attack tries to establish itself.
31-6, North Carolina leads. 40 ticks remain in this third quarter. Calandria fakes a handoff. And it's intercepted, tipped, and then caught by Ritzie. And the big fella still rumbling, stumbling, bumbling. He's going to go the distance if he can catch his breath. That is a touchdown. Can you believe that? A tip, a pick, and Javari Ritzie with a touchdown. Yards for Ritzie. Unbelievable.
What a play by the big fella. Defensive tackle, gets his man up in the air, comes down with the pick, and then ball security optional right here.
Look at him.
It's in his left hand, switches hands to his right. Now he's looking back for a cutback lane, doesn't need it. Using the athleticism, what a play by the big fella. That is 2 interceptions by the defensive line for North Carolina as we see the ace ump cam. He gets that thing, he's out the gate. There's no thought I'm pitching this.
No. Heck no.
I'm scoring.
Are you kidding me? And I mean, he looked strong finishing that run.
Look comfortable. Look at he played a little running back in his youth days.
He might need a tank of oxygen behind that. I mean, look at him. Look at him. Hey, he's not sitting down. He's moving around, maybe a little wobbly.
Got the belt, the turnover belt.
Good for him. I mean, that's a play that you remember the rest of your life. He's a graduate student, is Ritzie, 4th-year player.
He knew exactly what to do, too. There was no, oh my gosh, I've never been here before. He was ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Ball outside his frame in his left hand. Something you'd see a receiver do, but add Javari Ritzie in there.
He goes 6'4", 290 pounds. And he's not carrying much fat around there.
Coming into this game 4th in the ACC in sacks with 5, as we've talked about a bunch today. A lot of defensive linemen for North Carolina increasing their stat total in that department.
Let's take a look at today's Moments of Joy, brought to you by IHOP. Well, I could go for some IHOP right about now. Put a smile on your plate, Max Brown. The big man.
Look at this, using the stiff arm with the right hand while the ball's in the left hand, then switches it over, and now he's striding. He's getting out the gate.
Now, let me ask you this. When you're 290, do you get greater joy with a pick 6 or bellied up to a Tar Heel breakfast at IHOP?
Oh.
I mean, think about that now. He probably is able to knock down, 4 or 5 eggs.
He's earned that
biscuits
tomorrow.
and gravy, stack of pancakes, right? Little sausage and bacon.
Oh, yeah. Jeff Collins better be, I don't know if it's legal in the NIL days, but they better be feeding that entire defensive line tomorrow.
Well, they've been feeding on Calandria. And that's the end of the third quarter. It has been a long time since William yards. He's closing in on 1,000 for the year. But he does have a couple of touchdown runs, and J.J. Jones has had the best day of his North Carolina career. 5 catches, 129 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. And that's been the story of the game. 8 sacks now in this one for North Carolina. And if you weren't with us earlier, that one by Atkinson, his second. They had 15 total sacks this year.
It's Bo Atkinson beating Mikhail Boley on the left side. We knew coming into this game, this is a Virginia offensive line that's thin. But Boley, he's their established left tackle. Steen on the other side. This is just a byproduct of the North Carolina edge rushers showing out today.
Fields with the reception. That's a good hustle play there by Cowan. That's a big man coming down the line to wrap up Fields.
They've tried to target Fields today, but it's only been a few catches. Haven't really been able to get him going. There was that one miscommunication in the red zone when this was still a close ball game. That was a missed opportunity for the passing attack to get going.
I mean, it really is how one play. Calandria hit as he throws, it's incomplete, so Virginia will punt it, and Calandria off the deck again, and again it's number 12, Bo Atkinson.
At a certain point, you got to move the pocket too to help out your tackles too. Bo Atkinson, we've talked about Rucker, those guys are just pinning their ears back. It's a wide 9 technique, which means you're way outside the tackle, and they know exactly where Anthony Calandria is going to be, right behind the pocket, right behind the center. I know it limits your passing game, but roll out, help your tackles, limit this pass rush, and potentially can have Calandria's legs be a factor.
Well, the Cavaliers had made the decision, or at least they showed they were going to go for it on 4th down, trailing 38-6. North Carolina had Huzzy standing back in punt formation at the 10. So I think North Carolina's the one that has to spend the time out there. And somebody's pretty upset on that sideline. I don't know what's going on down there. I think they're sending Boley back to the locker room. Mikhail Boley, a junior out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. He's made 4 consecutive starts. He missed 4 weeks early in the year, and he's on his way to the locker room.
And there was no flag, so this must be at Tony Elliott, their head coach, his discretion. Obviously, that drive right there, he gets beat twice. Having been in locker rooms before, I'm sure there's guys chirping at each other and all sorts of potentially finger pointing and whatnot.
And this was such a critical game. 4th down and denied. That's going to be, though, I think a face mask. It's going to give Virginia the 1st down. Pace made the catch, and Calandria again absorbs a big hit. Looked like Trey Miller there was in coverage and may have been whistled for the infraction. Yep, no doubt about it.
Seeing the cutback. Seeing a performance like this, Tom, too, it's almost, you have to ask yourself, like, where has this been the whole season? As we're seeing the ace ump cam, would have been a turnover on downs. Instead, you get the penalty on Trey Miller. But yeah, when you talk with Mack Brown and Jeff Collins, you can sense the confidence that they have in their defensive line, who's had quite the day today.
The result of the play is a turnover on downs. 1st down, North Carolina. Timeout on the field.
You're watching CW Football Saturday, presented by Verizon. Beautiful fall weekend here in Charlottesville, Virginia. Parents' weekend. And there was no face mask penalty, but we had an injured player, number 50, Jimmy Christ. Oh, boy.
And this is important because we talked about Mikhail Boley, who was taken out, sent to the locker room. I believe that was Christ's first snap of the game, or he is the reserve tackle there. So that's a very significant injury, not only for this game, not sure who they go to left tackle-wise, but moving forward for Virginia for an offensive line that was already thin. And then now you're losing your reserve tackle in Christ, which is a huge concern moving forward.
Hampton has just eclipsed 1,000 rushing yards for the second consecutive season with that first down run. Stays in a block, picks up the blitz well, and that's dropped by Culliver. Let's send it back to Mike in the studios. You know, you got a number of unbeaten teams playing today. Notre Dame is just completely dominating Navy. Both Navy came in undefeated. But that is a blowout and a potential major upset in the making in Columbus, where after a bye week, number 4 Ohio State against Nebraska. Nebraska has the ball inside the 10-yard line, trailing, and they've just taken a lead, 16-14.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby is
Look
right.
out on your Buckeyes, Tom.
Well, they got Penn State and Ohio State next week, but Ohio State's defense has been great today. Apparently, offense laying an egg. There's a handoff inside the 30. That's a week removed Nebraska from getting completely obliterated at Indiana, where Curtis Rourke got injured in that game and only played one half.
Yeah. Notre Dame's the team that, from an ACC standpoint, you have to keep your eye on, because at the time when they lost to NIU, that was a terrible loss and one of the biggest wins in MAC history. That NIU team's not horrible, and Notre Dame's responded. And when you look at, hey, can the ACC get 2 teams into the college football playoff? If Notre Dame gets in, that might only allow for one ACC team to get in. You almost need Notre Dame to drop a game for a second, whether that's Pitt, whether that's Clemson responding back and getting in. Notre Dame, it feels like the roads are heading where it could be one or the other.
Well, of course, Notre Dame is not officially, if you will, a member of the ACC. They play a heavy ACC schedule, but they don't play the number of games. So they would be more viewed as an independent team to make it. I saw some of the odds about, what will be the ACC championship game, what looks to be the matchup there. Copenhaver close for a first down. It looks like he might have it. Or maybe not. Boy, I tell you, if I were a coach, I'd lose my mind when guys who weigh 250 pounds can't go another step before running out of bounds. Anyway, here's the most likely scenario, percentage points, believe it or not, is Miami against SMU. Now you're taking into the schedule in account of all this. The second most likely ACC championship game, percentage-wise, would be the top 2 teams on that screen.
And that's what I'm saying with Notre Dame not being an ACC member. There's a scenario where you have a one-loss Notre Dame team not playing in a conference championship, but then you have a one-loss ACC team, whether that's Clemson, Pitt, SMU, whatever, that then gets their second loss in the conference championship game. And how do you make that decision?
Yeah.
A one-loss Notre Dame that doesn't have a conference championship, or do you punish an SMU, Miami, Pitt type of team for losing in their conference title game?
Boy, Pitt looked really good the other night. Had 3 pick sixes in that game against Kyle McCord and Syracuse. And they're still undefeated.
They are. Found themselves a quarterback in that Pitt Narduzzi identity. Pat Narduzzi.
Thursday night, game night on the CW. Raven Simone hosts an all-new episode of the classic crossword game Scrabble. Then a brand new Trivial Pursuit hosted by LeVar Burton. Thursday night, game night. Starts at 8 Eastern, 7 Central only on the CW.
That point too is double down to Big Ten and SEC teams keep beating each other, expecting that they'll probably get 3 or 4 teams each in as we have a 4th and short.
Yep, they're going to go for it. Try to keep this clock rolling. And I think he took a big hit, did Hampton, but it looked like he was able to lunge forward and pick up a first down. Minter delivered the hit, or did he not get there? He did not get there. Wow.
That line judge came in quickly with no hesitation, pointing the other way. That knee must have got down quickly.
Good play by Ethan Minter there. Freshman safety.
Tried to get the ball to Hampton. The Virginia defense bowing up off the edge, getting the ball back here.
Well, we wondered if there would be a change at quarterback in this game for Virginia, and we get a look at Tony Muskett. Transfer senior, came over from Monmouth in his second year at UVA. You may remember he started last season as the starting quarterback, and then he got injured in the first game. The next week, Calandria took over. He's played in now 6 games, only 14 pass attempts after that incompletion a moment ago. But he was a guy who led this Virginia team to the win over unbeaten and number 10 North Carolina at Kenan Stadium last year.
And it looks like they're putting in all the backup receivers as well. So I wonder how much of this decision is also with the fact that we talked about the left tackles being banged up. Both your starting left tackles, or your first string and second string.
Busted coverage here, and Muskett going to get a touchdown pass to J.R. Wilson. How about that? First touchdown of the game for UVA. A lot of fans, along with Scott from Scott's, back and cheering for that touchdown for the Wahoos. It's been a long time coming today. 68 yards.
And go figure, you have the reserve receivers in there, the backup quarterback, banged up tackles, and that's your biggest pass play of the game. A coverage bust from North Carolina that credit this Virginia offense for taking advantage.
For Wilson, that's his first touchdown of the year. Been bothered with a bad knee all season long. He's only played in 3 games. So Muskett gets his 3rd touchdown pass of this season. Muskett's got a little flip pass and caught by Dakota Twitty. 2-point conversion is good, and flags come down. It looked like there may have been a late hit on Muskett. Which means a 2-point conversion will stand, and they will enforce a penalty on the kickoff.
The result of the play is a successful 2-point try. After the play, there were fouls by both teams. Unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 54. Unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 7. Both their first of the game. Those fouls offset will kick off.
Just a corner out by J.R. Wilson. Tony Muskett flashes right in front of him, gets the ball out of his hands. But the safety and corner both go to the flat. Left Wilson Jr. wide open. We're going to see Wilson on a corner route, tight end on an arrow route, and then we're going to see a safety coming down. And that is where you have 3 DBs on one guy and no one is on Wilson downfield. It's as easy as it gets.
Yep.
for Virginia's sake, could use one of those early on in the game to get Calandria in rhythm.
And there were offsetting penalties, as you heard a moment ago. They're going to, North Carolina, they're going to bring in the hands team here, expecting the onside kick from Virginia.
You're down 24 points, so 3 touchdowns and 3 two-point conversions with them tie this ball game. Pretty good kick.
Sure was.
Grand scheme of things.
Christian Hamilton, a backup wide receiver, able to haul it in. Coming up Wednesday on Inside the NFL, our pros take a look ahead at this weekend's games. Plus, Coach Belichick will have his game plan. Chad Ochocinco Johnson predictions. You won't want to miss it. Inside the NFL, Wednesday, 9 Eastern, 8 Central on the CW.
This is a North Carolina team, too, that struggled to close games. So I'm sure Mac Brown's telling his team, this is a mindset drive right here. Put him away. Long multi-play drive.
Well, Goss doing his impersonation of Hampton. Ran right through a would-be tackler.
Our ump cam today needs to keep his head on a swivel. Right at him. Man, that's a physical hit.
Sure is.
The true freshman Goss running behind his pads. It's a good sign for a young running back.
Yeah, they're fired up about the future of Goss. You know, a lot of people feel like Hampton more than likely at the end of this season. And you never know. I mean, some kids love playing college football. And with the NIL, guys are making really good money right now. Hampton is eligible to declare for the NFL draft, completing his 3rd year of play.
It's a good point, though. For any star college football player, the dynamic's different than where it was 5 years ago. Is if you're on the fence of whether or not to go or stay, and Hampton's different because he's been so productive for multiple years. But if you can go in the portal or hang at home and get NIL money, the dynamic changes.
Trey Walker, the injured Cavalier, we hope he's okay. They're out to have a look. We'll be right back. That's his waist is hanging off at 7'4". Well, what a player he was.
Put 2 of those beds together. I guess there's no room for it.
Right. We went into his joint. He's got a local restaurant here. Boy, what an unbelievable player he was. And the ultimate gentleman. I believe he's from Harrisburg, Virginia, if I remember right. Harrisonburg, Virginia. That's Goss. On a 2nd down carry, loses yardage. It'll bring up 3rd down as we're under 8:30 to go.
Remember my right tackle in college, big Zach Banner, 6'9", 350. Had to have specific seating arrangement on the airplane every time we traveled. I only imagine how it is for Hoopers.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why those NBA teams, they all have those charter planes that are all tricked out.
Those contracts are ridiculous. But hey.
Good for them.
They're earned. They drive the narrative.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if they earn them or not, especially with all this not playing back-to-back games. Goss on his feet, and he's inside the 10, down to the 7. It'll be 1st and goal, North Carolina.
And right on cue with our big guy conversation. You got big 78, Travion Green, the right tackle for North Carolina. All 340 pounds of him getting out, leading the way for Goss. Love the play calls. There's been some timely play calls today, too. Taking advantage of the aggressiveness of this Virginia defense, and credit the athleticism from Big Green, 6'7", 340, getting out, leading the way.
Goss maybe lost a yard. Some people nicked up on both sides, Carla.
Yeah, Dre Walker left the field. We saw him do that with a lower right ankle injury. This is the same ankle that he injured earlier this season. He just got back from this injury last week and now dealing with it again. That's tough for Virginia fans to see.
It's been a rough day for UVA fans. Most of them have made their way out of here. I mean, it's just a perfect day. Not too hot in the sunshine. Look at Goss dragging Minter along with her. Out of Apalaca, Florida, true freshman. They think this guy is going to be a good one.
And usually lower body strength's the last thing to come along for a running back. I mean, to have that already be a big part of his game, it's a good sign for a guy like Goss.
They've had a runner eclipse 100 yards in every single game this season. Goss did it back in week 2 in the rout of NC Charlotte. He had 16 carries for 105 yards. He averages 6 yards per carry on the year. These last two, nothing there. That's third down.
Really good play by Chico Bennett Jr., the edge rusher for Virginia. Using his speed on that right edge.
Well, they got some coaches over here to our left. They got some people that are hot over in that booth right now.
This booth is close quarters.
Well, you know, you look at the Tar Heels schedule looking ahead. It's just been a disaster for Florida State. Wake Forest hanging around pretty much 500 the whole year. BC with Castellanos is a very good team, but he's been in and out health-wise. And then the season finale against NC State, field goal is good from 25 yards out.
You'd have to think you can win those games if you're North Carolina, which speaks to coming off the bye week. We knew the talent that North Carolina had, but they struggled coming in with 3-game losing streak.
5:05 to go, and let's send it back to our studios to Mike and Michael. It really would have been a shame if Indiana lost that game today without their starting quarterback, Curtis Rourke, who, look, were it not for maybe 1 or 2 other quarterbacks in the country, he'd be right in that Heisman Trophy conversation. He's been that good for Indiana, the transfer from The Ohio University, former MAC Player of the Year, but he injured his thumb last week, split the thing wide open. And you've had this happen, it's got to hurt like crazy, right? When you connect with a helmet.
Totally, especially if it's on your throwing arm. And again, another interesting, like, if you're Indiana, you're Ohio State, you're Oregon, you're Penn State, like, all 4 of those teams could very well be playoff teams, but you can't stub your toe. Can't lose one of these non-ranked matchups.
No, but you know, if you lose with your best horses. But, you know, if you lose and your best guys down, it really kind of stinks, especially the kind of year they're having at Indiana. But they're going to win today. They already did. Now, Virginia, on the other hand, this is what they call tough sledding. You are playing ranked opponents in Pitt, Notre Dame, SMU. They get next week off. And then you have the season finale.
They're going to have to
Virginia Tech to become bowl eligible.
And if, bowl eligibility is a goal. That's why this game was so critical for them. Because from a Virginia perspective, you're like, hey, this is the game that we can win. And then maybe we can sneak up on one of those ranked teams to ultimately get bowl eligible. Only gets more difficult from here on out.
Receiver didn't have his head turned around. It was a bad throw anyway. Noah Vaughn was the one down the sideline. If that ball's thrown right there on the button, that might have been a touchdown. Musket on in relief of Calandria, he just had a tough day. I mean, there's no other way around it. 16 of 28, 156 yards, threw 2 interceptions, did not have a touchdown. Gain of 8. Coleman on the reception. .430 to go. No gain on third down. Noah Vaughn on the carry.
When you look big picture on this win too, I know we were just talking about Virginia, but North Carolina, again, coming off the bye week, everything they had to deal with the passing of Tylee Croft and how emotional that was to respond in this way. And you got the sense that Mack Brown knew his team has talent. They have dudes. They can make a run here. But it was Dyer coming in with a losing streak. Credit him for getting his bunch ready to play this game and dominate this game after an incredibly emotional past couple weeks.
Oh, yeah. Fourth down, and that'll move the chains on a quick crossing pattern.
Because this could have gone in a total different direction. If you lose this game or you don't show your best foot, that's where the snowball effect of negative momentum keeps rolling.
Yep.
It's hard to correct that. It's hard when you're losing games and continue to show up every single week and have a whole bye week to think about what was a brutal loss versus Georgia Tech. That was a heartbreaking loss 2 weeks ago. So you're having to sit with that, think with that, to get your guys to continue to show up to work. Again, with everything going on outside of football, that's much more important than the game. That's a great job by everyone involved with the Tar Heels.
Muskett with a first down to the 45-yard line. Clock right at 3 minutes to go. You know, and Mack Brown was so complimentary of Tony Elliott and his team wearing the Tylee Croft number, the decals on the back of their helmets. Of course, no one will ever forget what Wilson or Elliott went through back in November of 22 when Lavelle Davis Jr., Devin Chandler, and Deshaun Perry were all killed in just absolute tragic way. And they're remembered every day. Down the sideline, nearly a catch. That was a beautifully thrown ball.
He took a hit, too.
Well, if you're looking for a cable news network that respects all Americans and you have a new home in News Nation, see why News Nation is America's fastest growing cable news network. To find News Nation on your screen, go to joinnn.com. Only about a week and a half out from the presidential election, so you'll want to tune in.
Up.
Yep. That'll be a week from Tuesday, November the 5th. Pretty nifty footwork right there, and then a big shot delivered. That's Gibson. Jaden Gibson on the catch, and man, did he take a hit. And that will take us down to the 2-minute timeout. CW Sports Saturday. Big Saturday on the CW. Presented by Verizon. 41-14, North Carolina with 2 minutes to go here in Charlottesville, Virginia. First down for the Cavaliers at the North Carolina 33, and that is another double-digit sack day for this UNC defense. It's been a long time since they put up, is that their 9th or their 10th in this game?
I believe that's 10.
That is 10. And man, when's the last time they had more than 9? You got to go back to the 2000 season when they had 10 in a game against Wake Forest. So 24 years, 25 seasons have passed since North Carolina had 10 or more sacks in a game. They had 15 for this entire year before today.
It's been a lot of the same style too in this second half, just these edge rushers one-on-one with the tackles, and Virginia's had no answer. Oftentimes when that pressure happens, you see a lot of screens or draw plays at times. There's been nothing to slow down these edge rushers.
Going for an 11th here on 3rd down. He's able to get away. It'll bring up 4th down. Let's take a look at today's player of the game, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, and motorcycle insurance. Visit progressive.com. How about J.J. Jones?
Have a day. Led the team in receiving yards come into this game at 129 yards today. On his way to maybe being a 1,000-yard receiver. That play right there changed the course of this game. End of the first half. It was still a ball game at that point. North Carolina is able to sneak in a touchdown on a big contested catch from J.J. Jones that really allowed them to separate in this ball game.
Penalty flag down. Jones only had 2 touchdown receptions this year. And he gets 2 in this one alone.
Personal foul, hands to the face. Offense, number 68. Penalty is declined. The result of the play is a turnover on downs. First down, North Carolina.
So now the Tar Heels will just run this one out. North Carolina has not won a football game since beating North Carolina Central on September the 14th. They started the year 3-0. The next week was one of the most humiliating losses in recent North Carolina football memory, when they gave up 50 points in a half, 70 points in a game. It's a good James Madison team. They're not that good.
That's what's so bizarre about this North Carolina roster. You can see the talent, and really for that whole middle tier of the ACC, you better come ready every single week, because you're seeing some outlier wins, outlier losses, and a lot of these teams that are, I think, very comparable right there in the middle. It should be a fun November.
You can only imagine what the relief must be for this North Carolina team. The coaches, the players, everybody affiliated with the program. After the death of Tylee Kraft, see a big hug. Those two gentlemen, as head coaches, have experienced incredible grief. Kraft was buried at the beginning of this week. 4-game losing streak coming in. And North Carolina walks away with a 41-14 win. Carla?
Coach, it's been a while since this team got a win, but with what your program has been through the last 2 weeks, what does this one mean?
Just so proud of the guys. They've worked so hard, learned a lot of tough life lessons over the last few weeks. And Tylee's watching this. One of his sayings was, keep swinging. And that's what we built this on. We told the kids, keep swinging, man.
And the defense did that today, too. Been criticized for lack of sacks, lack of turnovers, lack of pressure. Not the case today. How proud of you are of that side of the ball?
Really proud of them. Carly, I said this would be a team that would finish strong. It'd be a team that'd get better each week. We could have won the last 3 games that we lost. And it's against 3 really good football teams. So this is the start of the rest of the year for us.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.